Hi, my name is Ifeanyi Abraham, and I'm at the Africa Tech Summit, where I'm meeting some of the biggest investors, operators, and startup founders that are doing tremendous things here in Africa. With me here today, I have Onyeka Akumah, a serial tech founder and the CEO of Treepz. I call him a tech daddy, not a tech bro, because the event is full of tech bros. Onyeka, how's it going?
I'm
Thank
fine,
you so much
thank
for
you.
talking to me at short notice.
Thanks a lot.
How are you feeling today?
Energetic. It's been an amazing session. Connecting to people, speaking to people, opening up new business opportunities. I think the lifeline of any entrepreneur is to consistently find new customers to buy your product. And I think that's what I'm getting here. So I'm very excited.
Okay, so what do you think about the concept of the 8 years? Is their 8th year and they're still able to pull a very consistent crowd?
Yeah.
More supporters and sponsors keep joining up the platform. So what do you think about them as an ecosystem partner?
I think it's amazing that they were strategic about the location they picked. Because the location, the timing of the event, the weather, it's a melting point. It's easy for people to travel in, and the visa services that have made it easy for people to come into the country. I think that has made it a good place to have an event like this. That's one. Two is the tech ecosystem in Nairobi has been thriving, and a lot of people have spoken well about it. And there are a lot of investors and VCs that sit here who entrepreneurs and startups want to connect with. So all of that makes this whole event really, really exciting for people to want to go to. For me, it's been a great place to, first 2 years ago, announce Treepz entry into Kenya.
Yeah.
And following up on that, I've been able to find opportunities to network, introduce new products and services, and that is what we're seeing more and more happening with this. So I think kudos to the team. If they consistently go on this trend, it just will get bigger and bigger. It's bigger this year than last year, and I think it will get even bigger in years to come. And for us in Treepz, it may be a huge opportunity to continue to partner and open up new business opportunities for us.
So when you talk about new products and services, what are some of the new products and services that Treepz has that are of use to the ecosystem or that you're even introducing as a part of this event?
Okay, so let me take this event for instance. All of us traveled here. We get our flights on Expedia or booking accommodation on Airbnb or booking.com. And then we'll all land here, and then you're figuring out, okay, how do I get out of the airport? How do I move around the city? We're done with an event like this, and next thing is we're thinking about, okay, what experience do I get in the city? And you start asking people around that. We're creating a package called Event Trips that we're introducing to the market, where you can now get a bundle of all of those packages, including eSIM services, airport transfer, ground transportation, tour events that will align with your event that you came for. So you do your business, and then you get the best of the city you're in. And we're doing that across Africa. We're trying to get partnerships with the major events across Africa, where African entrepreneurs, investors, media people are going to consistently on an annual basis and open up the opportunities for them to benefit from that. We're also introducing vacation packages in Canada as we launch our business in Canada in the second quarter of 2025. And that opportunity will expose Canadians to come into Africa to experience safari in Kenya, to experience Dirty December in Lagos, to experience the GTech Summit in Morocco, whether it's in Lagos, and then get a really good vibe of what Africa has to offer to them. So I think those are two main services, vacation trips and event trips. So I think we'll roll out over the next couple of weeks and then build partnerships and get people to experience cities beyond just traveling for them for an event, and then you're figuring out what you need to do.
Fantastic. Now, you talked about Canada.
Yeah.
Now, reinvest, a Canadian registered company, just announced an 11 million raise yesterday. What do you think is the importance of the Canadian ecosystem and some of the investors in Canada to grow in African tech?
First, congratulations to the reinvest team. What they've done is phenomenal. And I'm quite excited about the opportunity that they've used this story to talk about the Canadian-African partnership that has come into play and is bringing to get more light in the eyes of people. What I've seen generally has been people like Sunil Sharma, who is the MD of Techstars Toronto, identified startups in Africa very early on and channeled in funding to more than 40 startups in Africa, to many of them who had their first checks. Then created an ecosystem for them to register their business in Canada and access North American investors to invest in them and grow their businesses. I think it has been tremendous what he's done, and all other stakeholders like Efosa Obano with the Black Founders Network or Osaz Obano with the African Impact Initiative to expose African talent and African businesses to that market. Not just for them to invest in them to do business in Africa, but take those solutions out into other markets like Canada and the entire North American region to expose their services like we are doing in Treepz as well. I think it's been phenomenal. It's another opportunity to unlock wealth or investment or capital from Canada and deploy that in African businesses beyond just depending on markets like North America, recently the Middle East or Europe. Canada becomes another option, and I think it's something that we should consistently amplify. Businesses like ours that are doing businesses like reinvest, and other businesses that have made their headquarters there should consistently amplify. Also, talent. The Canadian system has allowed for talent to come in and build systems, but also has allowed systems to allow people to stay in Canada, build systems, and deploy them in Africa. Reinvest CTO currently sits in Toronto. Treepz, my co-founders, currently sit in Toronto. And across several other businesses, you see people sitting across the Canadian region to deploy their talents and then get businesses thriving even on the continent of Africa. So I think it's been massive. It's something that has been encouraging as you get more talent moving there, good talent moving there, and they won't forget home and continue to build solutions there. So I think it's been encouraging, and I look forward to more and more of those kind of stories happening. So it encourages more.
So as a founder turned angel investor, or should I even say a VC, how many startups have you invested in? And are you seeing any interesting trends in the investment landscape this year in Africa that people that are looking to get involved can jump on?
So I don't consider myself a VC first. I consider myself an angel investor, and in some cases I actually venture build with some of these founders. So I bring my own skill set to help them grow. I've done that with more than 17 startups now. And I've seen consistently these guys take not just the money, but also the knowledge, the experience, the lessons from failing and the lessons from succeeding, and use that to build their own businesses that will thrive and grow. I think for me, I will put a stand and say I encourage more founders who have maybe gone through the first circle of startups that have come out of Africa and the second circle and have made some success out of that to deploy not just capital, but the experience in helping these founders grow. So it's something I'm excited about. It's something I've created a structure called the With Onyeka community or WO community to continue to support more and more founders beyond those that I have invested in. And I will encourage them more and more. I think the ecosystem is building that way. We're seeing so many other founders, established founders, do that kind of thing, create that kind of environment. And I think it just continues to make our ecosystem better.
Fantastic. So you recently turned 40 and you launched your book.
Yeah.
What was the vision behind that book and how has been the reception?
I wanted to tell my own story. I wanted to tell it my way. And I took all my lessons from when I was 5 years old, as far back as I could remember, leading up to my 40th birthday, which was last year, October. The journeys of working with corporates like Deloitte or British Council, GT Bank, that knowledge I took out of there to build my own businesses, and the experiences of working with startups that are not my own startups, so Wakana, Jumia, Konga, and Travelbeta, and my own experiences of building my businesses, exiting two, and then also building some very successful businesses and also failing in some of them. All of those lessons I try to capture in that book. So it's my story, it's my autobiography, but it's also a journal for founders to use to learn the lessons that I have learned and use them as a guide to build better businesses. And doing that, I think over the last 40 years of my life, I've been focused on this entrepreneurial space to create value for people. The next phase of my life is how I become a source for capital to get to these people, help them tell better stories, and not just build my own businesses any longer, but have an impact on the next generation of founders.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Onyeka.
Thanks a lot,
for joining the quick interview.
Thank you.
We always end our interviews, we ask our guests to shout out to Techsoma Africa,
Okay.
Techsoma Middle East, Techsoma Canada.
Okay.
We're not shy, so please, yeah.
All right, so shout out to Techsoma Africa, shout out to Techsoma Middle East, and shout out to Techsoma Canada. You're doing a fantastic job. Please keep telling the stories of African entrepreneurs like you're doing and amplify our stories even better. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Onyeka.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.